Hey guys, Ron Bass with another edition of the Ron Bass Show. Your source for inspiration, encouragement, motivation, humor.
Sometimes.
Mr. Ben Atterbury, Mr. Humor himself. What say you, sir?
Today is a good day.
Good day.
I got to see you.
Oh, well, thank you, sir. That's a nice compliment. I would say the same, but no, I'm kidding. I'm only teasing. We trade barbs all the time over here. He's like really good at dry humor. I'm trying to get better at it. Any rate, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I got some stories.
Oh, I love stories.
Yeah, you like stories? Let's start off with this is funny for me. I'm not sure everybody else is going to find it funny, but I think it's funny. So, let's see, said the blind man as he picked up his tools and walked away. I competed in a Jiu Jitsu tournament Saturday.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir. So, it was really interesting because the guy that I was supposed to compete against, I know, he's a black belt. I'm a brown belt, which is right below the black belt. Mm-hmm. And I did what they call no-gi, which is not in the kimono. It was just wearing, like the UFC fighters, wearing shorts and a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. So at the beginning of the day, I was there for the kids because we have a pretty large kids class, and they were competing, and I wanted to be there to support them. So my friend, Matt Williams, walked over to me because he was competing in the gi in the morning, and he shook my hand, and he says, "Hey, man, how you doing? I'll see you later." And he left, and I thought, that's kind of weird because he usually has a conversation with me, and I thought he would say something like, "Hey, I'll see you this afternoon when we compete together," and he didn't say anything. So, at any rate, a couple hours later, I get this, "Ron Bass, come to the bracket table. Ron Bass to the bracket table." So I go over to what they call the bracket table, where they set the brackets for the weight, for the age, and the weight and the belt levels, and they said, "Hey, man, Matt couldn't make it." I thought, well, that makes sense now. That's why he didn't say anything to me. But he said, "I've got another guy that wants to compete with you. He's in his 30s. I said, "Well, I don't care. You know what? Fight or fights. It doesn't matter to me." So he said, "Well, I thought that's what you would say because I have a reputation for that. Like, my original black belt, Luis Rubalcaba, he told me a long time ago, man, a fighter fights. You don't pick and choose because on the street, guys, you don't have the I can't fight.
How old are you?
Yeah." I can't
we
fight.
Can't fight.
We can't fight. So, you kind of learn that's just the way it is. And when you train jiu-jitsu or any martial art at the gym and you compete, that's about as close as you're going to get to a real street fight. So, and we also teach boxing in our gym too because most fights are going to start, people are going to throw some punches. And so you better at least know how to defend a little bit, throw some punches before you can get to the back or get to the ground, which is where jiu-jitsu is so helpful. At any rate, so I'm getting to the fun part here. To me, it's funny. It tickles me to think about this now. At the time, it was embarrassing, but it tickles me. So when I walked up to the mat. The gentleman walked up to me. He says, "Hi, my name's Joey, and are you my competitor?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Oh, nice to meet you." This and that. People are very gracious at these tournaments. They're really wonderful people. Everybody wants to see you do well. But when it gets time to scrap, to wrestle, it changes. You got to go for the gold, right? So, any rate, I walked up to him, I got my grips, and I put my head down. I was going to try to go for what they call a single leg takedown. And the next thing I know, oh my God, this guy guillotined me. I mean, which is under the neck, and basically he picked me up off the mat on my Adam's apple. And I mean, it was like, wow, within seconds. Of course, I tapped because I knew, I was going to pass out if I didn't, and it was painful. So, what you're supposed to do, of course, when that happens, you're supposed to stand there. The referee holds up your hand, or holds up his hand as the winner, turns you around to the other side of the crowd and does the same thing. I walked off the mat. I was so dazed. They said, "Hey, where are you going? Come back here." Oh, man, I've never done that in all the years I've been doing competition. Never. So I guess the moral of the story is you never know what might happen. But I just thought it was funny because they were filming me, and I thought, oh, my God, I must look so silly. But it just goes to show you how powerful jiu-jitsu is. Somebody, does something like a choke like that or a neck crank. It's powerful, man. And it doesn't look like it would be, but he picked me up literally off the mat. At any rate, I thought that was something I wanted to share with everybody. And then the rest of the story is, hey, guys, youth versus age. Well, as you age, we talk about it all the time. Most of my viewers aren't that old. I get it. But even 40 or 50 is starting to get up there a little bit. After 40, you lose 10. No, that's after 30. You lose 10% a decade of your aerobic strength, of your endurance. And the only way to get some of that back, of course, is to work out, right? Which is what I just came from the gym, right? I worked out. Mm-hmm. I do what they call the Stairmaster, which is like climbing steps. Mm-hmm. And that really helps my cardio a lot. It gives me more cardio endurance. So you have to counter the aging, in my opinion, and the best way to do it, I think, is to work out. We talk about it every day. So, look, it doesn't matter if you're young or old, but particularly if you're old, you got to really think about this, guys. If you're getting older, 40, 50, 60, 70, you have to work out, because if you don't, it's not a matter of anymore being like, yeah, I love to do sports. And that's unusual at my age, I get it. But there are people that are older than me competing in all kinds of sports. There's people in their doing running marathons like in their 90s. So, yes, it's a small group, I get it, but the idea is, forget about that for a minute. You've got to stay fit and healthy, because your heart doesn't work as well when you get older. It doesn't pump as much blood, so you don't get the oxygen to your cells, and that's why you lose so much cardio. I noticed last night, even when I was rolling in my gym, not competing, but we do technique and then we roll every night in our gym when we do Jiu Jitsu. So I noticed last night I went against a young guy, and I did okay, but I could tell that he had a lot more skedaddle than I had. You like that word, skedaddle?
Skedaddle.
Yeah, I just kind of made that one up.
Haven't heard that one before.
I know, it's been a minute. I think that's a real word.
I don't know.
I don't know. But I could tell that, he was like going and going and going, and I'm thinking, I've got to be a little more conservative here. I've got to let him wear out a little bit, and I'm going to kind of go roll with the punches, so to speak. And then when I see an opportunity, I'm going to go for it. And he was just like, go, 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 go. I didn't have that much gas in my gas tank, but I had enough that I could handle myself and do okay, and I was able to be successful in the match.
You had a little skedaddle.
I had a little skedaddle. But if I didn't work out every day, guess what?
No skedaddle.
I'd have no skedaddle. That's funny. Okay, so much for that, guys. Let's move on to something else. I think last week you were wanting me to talk about pivoting.
Oh, yeah.
Like when we go through life and we come across challenges.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
You want to explain a little bit what you mean by that?
No.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, you have to change direction. You have to change your strategy. You have to change how you're approaching whatever you're trying to do.
Fair enough. We talk about that in general terms sort of all the time about, never giving up, setting the goal. You got to get there somehow. And what he's talking about, I believe, is that, you're going to come across these situations where you feel like you hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
And it's like, golly, man, I can't. I had one of my students last night, I just don't think I'm improving. I've plateaued. Okay, well, that doesn't matter. What matters is you train every day. You work out every day. You reset the goal every day. You don't ever give up. The goal stays the same. The goal's constant. What isn't constant are the variables that cause you to maybe feel like you're not going to get there. Mm-hmm. That's just human. That's just natural.
Yeah, they may think they've plateaued when they really haven't, because they've never seen what's on the other side or beyond that plateau. And you can continue to grow and get better at everything.
Man, I remember
even professional athletes try to get better.
I can remember my first year doing Jiu Jitsu. I was so horrible.
You were terrible.
I was terrible.
Oh, people
Terrible in the Spanish. I was bad, man. But you know what?
I want to wrestle with him because I'm going to win every time.
I'm going to beat him up. In fact, one of my former competitors even commented about the tournament that I did this weekend. He says, "Hey, I used to." Basically, what he was saying was, I used to beat Ron up all the time, but people that know Ron know that he's improving and that he's not going to be that simple anymore, and you better be careful when you compete with him, because he'll fool you and he'll do some things you're not expecting. So, that's just kind of the way it is for me. I've never been a quick learner. I've always been the guy that it took a while to figure stuff out. But but one of the best traits that I have is that I'm stubborn. My mother was like that. I got that from my mother. She had the greatest work ethic, and she was so stubborn. So she never, ever relented. She always maintained her determination to accomplish the goal. So we say that to say to you guys, keep the goal out there, and figure out a way to get there. And when you get in trouble and you don't feel like it, or you're running into struggles, pivot.
Yep, pivot.
Find another way to go over, go under, or go around. There's all kinds of ways to get over that, to get past that mountain.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yes, love it.
Am I beating this up too much?
No, I like it.
Not to use a pun, beating it up.
No.
Like working, like
pivot.
fighting.
And I mean, it's a term used in basketball too.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't. You can move one foot, but you can't move both. So you can pivot.
You
can move left and right, but got to keep that one foot stationary.
Fair enough. I used to love to play basketball when I was a kid.
Yeah. You still play now.
I can still play.
Yeah. Just pivot.
Oh boy, being old is interesting. But hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. What matters is setting the goal. Mm-hmm. Figuring out a way to get there. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Sometimes I feel sorry for myself when I get beat up. By the way, the second match I had a second match with the same guy that beat me up the first match, and I didn't. I was able to go the entire round, which is 5 minutes. He didn't submit me, so he beat me on points. Mm-hmm. Man, could he move? He was moving, man. He was moving, and I was like, holy camole! I was just trying to not get submitted, but at least I made it for the whole round. So to me, that was a win for myself. At any rate. There's nothing like competing, guys. I don't care what sport it is. Find a sport, learn the sport, and do some competitions, because it's the best thing in the world is facing your uncomfortableness. You know, I wasn't like comfortable walking into that arena with thousands of people looking at me, knowing that I was probably going to get beat up by this guy that was 40 years younger than me. But you know what? I didn't care. I cared more about myself facing my fears. Because if I didn't face those fears and overcome them, I'm going to be locked in my own prison for the rest of my life. I can't be that guy. You can't be that guy. You have to face every day what's uncomfortable and hit it head on, man. It's okay. You're going to get through it, and you're going to feel so good about yourself. I promise you. Yes, sir.
Whenever you go to commercial break, I have a story.
Okay, one last little thing, and then I'm going to shut up and let you tell us your stories. Okay. This is a Ron's rant. Ron's rant. Are you ready? Yeah. Oh my God. So, I thought this was bad enough. I had to go to the courthouse to get my. Did I talk about this last week? I don't think so. To get my personal property tax paid. Well, it was only like $30. So I have to stand in line for like 20 minutes. Okay, not the end of the world. Then they say, okay, now you got to go to this room. Take this document. So I go to that room. And they say, oh, no, you got to go to that room. So then I go to that room, and they said, now you got to go to that room. And it took like an hour for this process, and this is at an old courthouse. And all the whole time I'm thinking, as Mr. Business Guy here, my God, this is so inefficient. This is so silly. This is 2025, man. It can't be this complicated. But that was bad. But let me tell you the really bad story. For all you guys out there that like to travel, as you may or may not know, as of May the 9th, it was the 7th, I think they gave a 2-day grace, you have to have what they call the real ID card.
In the United States.
United States. You can't, you have to have that or a passport before you can get on an airplane. Which is really interesting, because how long ago did we have 9/11? Like 25 years ago? 20 years ago? 25 years ago? Why all of a sudden are they making you do this? I thought, there's all this security in place anyway. So I go to the driver's license bureau to get this done. Oh my God. I went online first to find out what the requirements were. Here's what they said the requirements were. Online, Social Security card, one proof of evidence that you live at your residence, so like maybe utility
bill, yeah.
Right? And the third item was your birth certificate. And I'm thinking to myself, are you really going to make people look up their birth certificate? First of all, probably most people don't have one. Fortunately, I had one because when I got my Social Security at 65, I had to go get a copy of it and take to the Social Security office in order to start getting benefits. Mm-hmm. So I had it, and I found it. So I walk in there thinking, oh, okay, this is going to be easy. Not to be. Oh, no, Mr. Bass, if you'll notice on the utility bill here, that you don't really have the bill. This just says that you are like a customer of City Utilities, and there's no date on this. So even if it were okay, it's not okay because there's not a date on it. Really? Really? What about my Social Security card? Oh, no, you don't need that. Really? Okay, well then, what are you really trying to tell me? Well, you need 2 pieces of evidence that you live at this residence. But it only said 1 online. Oh, no, Mr. Bass, here. And then she showed me this sheet, and she's checkmarked and checkmarked. Man, look, I don't complain usually, and I'm not trying to be a complainer, but come on, man. So I leave the driver's license bureau, which is fortunately only like 5 blocks from my office. Go back to my office. I pick up a personal property tax statement, and I pick up a personal real estate tax statement, 2 different documents showing that I live at my home. I go back in there, wait in line again. Oh, you're back. I say, yeah, I'm back. So she says, let me see what you got. And so she goes online to prove that those are physical documents that are real. I can't find it, Mr. Bass. Wait a minute. Type in Greene County, Missouri, and go to the assessor's office, and I am doing that, sir, and it's not showing up. Oh, come on, man. Finally, okay, I found it. Oh, thank you so much. And I'm going to take this to the lady all the way in the back. If you'll have a seat, they'll call your name. So, story gets a little more interesting. So, 5-10 minutes later, they call me, now we go up there. And she goes through like a similar kind of a gig. Finally, they say, okay, take your picture. Take my picture. I say, can I smile? Because the last time I took a picture, they wouldn't let me smile. I had to have a straight face. Oh, you can smile if you want. At any rate, takes a picture. I get the document that says that I paid, but guess what it says? This is not a real ID document. Your real ID document will come in 2 weeks in the mail. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking to myself, all this, what if this was May the 9th and I wanted to get on a plane today? No way, Jose. It's just so silly to me. At any rate, I say all that to say this, guys. Work out every day, because if you do, you'll have some patience. And if you don't, it's going to be pretty hard to get through some of this stuff every day. Okay.
Got to pivot.
I'm going to pivot to Mr. Brent. Breaking news.
Well, I'll get to that. I got a story.
Got stuff?
A story that's serious.
Oh. Really? Not really. I can see the smile on your face. By the way, I read an article about laughing.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it shows the anatomy of what happens when you laugh and why it comes out the way it does.
Your organs shake?
Yeah, your organs shake. It's crazy. They shake. Okay, go ahead.
So I pay my personal property tax online.
Oh, well, now you're a little more sophisticated than I am. So, you know why you do that? Because you pay it on time. I never pay mine on time.
No,
I'm like 3 years late every time.
No, there's been years I've gone on and had to pay the penalty. It's on there.
Okay,
it shows you your account and everything. Yeah, when you get the thing in the mail, it gives you a PIN, and you can go on to their website. You got to type in your PIN, and it'll show you what you owe plus your penalty.
I got a better story. I got a better story than the penalty. Oh. I waited one time so long that they were going to sell my house, and I paid it the day before. Wow. My house was going to be auctioned off on the court steps of the courthouse.
Is that called procrastination?
I was procrastinating pretty bad. That's another long story, guys. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Okay,
I don't recommend that, by the way.
Got to tell you this story. It made me feel good. I was communicating through email with someone through work. I was trying to find out more information about this organization that's trying to raise money for what they call the Harmony House here in Southwest Missouri. Well, they have this big fundraiser going on, and I wanted to know what sponsorships were available and what was going on. Yeah. And they sent them to me, and at the bottom it said, P.S., did you ever work at Plaza Shoe Store in 1989? And I go, yes, I did.
Wow.
He said, well, it might have been 1990. So like 35 years ago.
Golly, so you're like 65 or 70 then.
So, no, I was working there when I was 10. But, so anyway, he goes.
That's funny.
He goes, well, I said, and his name was Kevin Young. And he said, well, I wasn't sure if that was your name or not. I wanted to ask. And I said, wow, you have a great memory. And he goes, well, you actually stood out to me.
Aww.
He goes, I started working there at the shoe store, and when you first start out, you have to stock shelves.
Yeah.
You're in the back, and you're in the warehouse, stocking shelves. He goes, I was in the warehouse working, and I'd only been there like a month, and he goes, you were always really nice to me, and you had respect for everyone there.
Aww.
And he goes, that impacted me in a positive way.
Wow.
And I said, wow. So, you say to do a nice thing, do something good. You never know how it's going to affect someone. He's now the, CEO or vice president of Harmony House, working for an organization that helps people.
Wow.
So
that's a great success story.
Not that I'm the reason for that, but he remembered me, and he didn't remember very many other people that worked there. So.
Well, you're somebody that stands out.
Well, yeah, thanks. I try not to stand out in the rain because it's wet today, but I just wanted to share that with you because it goes back to what you were saying. Be nice to people. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't know.
Never know what's going to happen.
And look how much you've influenced his life, and you wouldn't have even known it at the time, which is another. That's what we call the giving anonymously, where you don't know. You give it. You give because you want to do the right thing. Look how much you've influenced him.
And I wasn't giving. I was just being
well,
nice.
You're giving of yourself,
and
showing respect, showing consideration to people.
He said you didn't treat me like I was,
nobody.
Yeah. So
that's
anyway,
a great story.
All right. Here we go,
Kokomo.
So here's the
Kokomo, Indiana.
Breaking news.
Okay.
There's been a new Guinness World Record broken.
Oh my.
And there's something else to this.
Okay.
I've got to read his quote to you. You're really going to like it.
Okay.
Man does 10,001 pull-ups in 24 hours to reclaim world record. Yes.
10,000 pull-ups.
Right there. 10,001 pull-ups in 24 hours to reclaim world record. He had the record before and I got a video of him right here, him doing it. He did 81. He had the record originally at 8,100. Somebody beat him 8,600, and then he now has 10,001 pull-ups in 24 hours. Here's the part I wanted you to hear.
Tell me his name.
Okay. Truett Haynes. Truett Haynes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yep. And here's his quote.
Okay.
What I learned about myself is I won't give up. I wasn't blessed with unique ability or super strength, and things have never really come easily to me.
Wow.
But I've been gifted the ability to not give up on my goals, he said. Even if it takes years, I'll see it through till it's completed, he told the Guinness World Records.
Wow. Do the math on that. 10,000 in 24 hours would be, that's 500 pull-ups an hour? I think that's right. 400 pull-ups an hour. What's 24 times 400?
There he goes.
That's crazy. I mean, you would just be so worn out.
24 hours.
Well, think about it. That's 400 pull-ups an hour. Now break that down by the minutes.
And he can take breaks.
What's 400 divided by 60?
I don't know. We got a calculator?
That's 60. That's 60 pull-ups a minute?
I don't know.
That doesn't sound right. That's 6 pull-ups a minute.
I just say it's a lot.
6 pull-ups a minute. That means he's doing a pull-up every 10 seconds for 24 hours. Wow, man, that's crazy. The most I've ever done, I think, was with my old partner, Tony's Fuel. And we would do like 20 sets of pull-ups before we lifted weights, and that was like 180, 200 pull-ups. And it took us like 20 or 30 minutes, and we were exhausted. And this guy did, now think about it, he did 5, that's 50 times that much. That's crazy. That's crazy.
If you take off these 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers, that's how many I can do. One.
Well, man, I was 60 years old.
I might be able to do 2.
When I did my first pull-up, I was 60 years old. Think about that.
Yeah.
I'd wanted to do it my whole life, and my friend Tony, I told the story before, I'd be up there like, and he would like take my legs, he would push them up, and I'd go, oh, I could go over, oh, I could go. He was pushing. And eventually, after about 6 months, I could do one, and then another, and it just got to where I still do them today, 10 years later.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't do as many, but I still do at least 20 or 30 pull-ups a day at the gym after I do my Stairmaster, and then I lift weights. That's kind of my routine. I'm in the gym about an hour. Guys, you don't have to be like, world champions here. Just this is pretty bizarre, but it makes the point that you can do the impossible if it's important enough to you. He proves that point.
Yeah, he had the record.
It probably took him years to get there. He didn't do this overnight.
He had the record.
To train for years.
2 years later, somebody broke his record.
I think a guy named Goggins broke his record. He was a Marine.
Australian.
Yeah, no, he's a Marine.
Oh.
He's a motivationalist, and he does crazy fitness things. Like he'll do the ultra marathons, which is like 200 miles. Like they run and they have to sleep on the run. They literally have to like stop and sleep, and they go back on the run again. And I think he broke the record last year. His last name is Goggins. He's got a big success story too. He used to weigh like 300 or 400 pounds. Tried to get in the Marine Corps. They wouldn't let him in. He finally lost the weight, got in, and he became a Navy SEAL. And then he just went on and on and on, and now he's like a great motivationalist. Look him up sometime online. His name is, what's his first name? His last name is Goggins. You can't miss him online. You'll see him. Great success story. Great motivator.
Great.
Oh,
also, today is International Moment of Laughter Day.
We like to laugh.
We do. Here's one that's weird, and I wasn't even going to bring it up.
Oh.
Why would they even do a day like this? It's National Tell a Lie Day.
That is weird.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, you don't want to do that. There's no
That's
saying
terrible.
If you never lie, you never have to remember what you've said. That's a good one, isn't it?
It is.
I remember
well, then I'm glad I brought it up.
I can tell you guys something it's so important. I've learned, particularly the last couple of years when I've gone through some struggles, it's like you just have to hit everything head on, man. You can't hesitate. I don't care if it's uncomfortable or not. You just have to do it. Because once you get it behind you, you're going to feel so much better about everything. I'm not saying it's going to feel good. It's going to be comfortable. But when you get through it, you're going to feel better than you did before. Or not, I don't want to do that. No, just do it. Just do it anyway. Just do it. Isn't there an old slogan like that? Just do it.
Nike.
That's what I thought. Mm-hmm. I read an article about that guy.
Phil Knight.
Started from nothing.
Yep.
Now he's a gazillionaire.
Yep.
I love that story.
Michael Jordan put him on the map.
Put him on the map.
Yep.
I've always thought tennis shoes were overpriced.
You ought to watch that story.
I think I've studied it a little bit about that guy.
About how Michael went in and negotiated and said, "This is what I want." And he's like, and he's so glad he did.
But he did it.
He did it.
And the rest is history.
And the rest is history.
Cool. Well, how are we doing on time? About time to get out of here?
I don't have a watch.
I don't have a watch. Speaking of a watch, I didn't have one either for a long time. I used to go to Walmart and always buy these $10 watches because they looked pretty cool. They didn't cost much.
Yeah.
The problem is they kept breaking. I'd wear them on the mats when I worked out at night, and they'd always bust and fall apart. So I finally went on. I didn't have a watch for months, and I went on Amazon, and I bought this watch for $10. I kept to my.
And it hasn't been broken.
Hadn't been broken, and I've been wearing it on the mats too.
Wow.
Yeah, $10.
I use my phone for my watch.
You do?
Anymore, just because
I do too.
It's all I carry it with me everywhere, and. So,
wow, we've been on the air 30 minutes. We better get out of here.
Have we? Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun, guys. There's a couple of subscribers that did send some messages in. We'll get to those next week.
Sorry we're late this week.
Sorry we're late this week. No,
I'm
sorry.
late this week.
He's sorry that we're late this week.
2 days. Woo!
We have one subscriber that's just always excited to see the video.
Sorry.
I'm so happy that we can touch these, a few lives and make a difference. That's really our goal every day, right?
It is.
When you've been through some stuff and you want to share it, and you just hope that maybe some people can learn a little bit from it, because we've learned something from it, right? Mm-hmm. And in the end, it all comes down to the same thing, man. Just remember, if you don't give up, those stars, eventually they're going to line up. Mm-hmm. That's all you got to remember. Don't give up, man. It's not like, I know it's frustrating when you're going through struggles, but look, you got to expect that. Don't be surprised when you struggle. You're going to, I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You're going to have struggles, and the key is just to get through them and not give up, man. So until that time comes, and even after that time comes, just remember, you got to stay positive.